Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with Norm.
Okay, we get messages all the time about other opportunities. What can people do outside of Amazon, or what does Amazon offer that's different? Today we're going to talk to you about this. And we're going to be talking about wholesale opportunities on Amazon and possibly Walmart. Anyways, today we have a serial entrepreneur. Our guest has been pursuing his dream in true financial and location freedom by creating profit centers for almost 40 years. He's the co-founder of Expert University and has generated, I said this on the last podcast, over $100 million in online revenue over this time. We're going to be talking about the Amazon wholesale model. My guest today is a returning guest, Todd Snively. Can't wait to talk to him. He's an awesome guy. But before we get to it, I do want to just give a great big shout out to Ahrefs, our sponsor, Ahrefs Webmaster Tools. Looking to become more than an Amazon seller? Start increasing your sales through your own website using the help of Ahrefs. With their new, very advanced and easy to use and free tool, Ahrefs can help you launch inbound sales from your very own website with ease, all while you sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast. So take advantage. Sorry, I got this frog in my throat. Take control of your business and check out Ahrefs Webmaster Tools at ahrefs.com/AWT, and that's ahrefs.com/AWT. All right, where's the boy wonder?
Hello, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Oh man, I'm just warning people now. I got a bit of a frog in my throat too. I guess I had a cigar yesterday and
too many cigars.
It's coming back to haunt me. Yeah. Yeah, you got to stop sending me them.
I know. Yeah. Well, I'm off to a good start. My lovely roommate just made me a whole breakfast right next to me. I got some sausages and eggs, so I'm ready to go. I'm in a good mood. And
great.
yeah, so welcome everyone. Welcome to the show. If you haven't yet, please smash those like buttons, give us those thumbs up, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. Also, if you have any questions throughout the show, of course, just throw them over into the comment sections. We go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So just come and join us on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We do have an awesome prize today as well. We are still doing we're looking for our 200th episode Beer Nation members. So if you're interested in coming onto the show for our 200th episode, go to our Facebook page or Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA and E-commerce Collective, and you'll be able to find a pinned post where you can answer a few questions or one of the questions, and you can be part of the show. So I'll put the link in the bio or in the comment sections, but we can just jump into it today.
All right, fantastic. So if you do have any questions, throw them over into the comment section. Other than that, sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and enjoy the episode. Where is Mr. Snively? There he is.
Physically, I got to, every day I ask myself that, where am I today?
Look at you in your professional podcast studio now, man.
I know, but aren't green screens wonderful too? So I could be next to a swimming pool in 2 minutes if you want me to do that.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so for those of us who don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do?
Oh, sure. Well, I like making money online because basically I'm lazy and I like the easiest way to do things. And, I've done a lot of different businesses over the last 40 years, from physical stores to actual consulting businesses. I've written a book. I got a book out there I'm very proud of called The Amazon Code. It was a #1 bestseller on Amazon. So I was thrilled about that. But right now, our passion since 2002 has been selling physical products online, what we call wholesale distribution. And, just the fact that we've been doing it since 2002 should give you a hint as to, the legitimacy of the model, not a flash in the pan, something that's going to be around for a while. And so what we've really been doing is trying to figure out the different ways to pivot when, life throws things at you like a international pandemic and things like that, and different ways to drill down into that business model, whether it's different marketplaces, different product types and sources, or different even software tools to help you sell more. I mean, even though we've been doing this since 2002, I would say not a month goes by that we don't learn something significant to help us make more money in our business.
Right. And you're not talking about a little bit of money. People can go out there and make significant dollars, correct?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is one of those business models that can't really be oversaturated, or especially by any one person. When you look at, even on Amazon, the largest marketplace in the world, the top sellers are still only in like the $100 million range. You don't have any billion-dollar sellers on Amazon. And a lot of that has to do just based on the limitations of the marketplace and the model. We could grow as big as we wanted to, but we picked a level that we're comfortable at for the investment in infrastructure, employees, and technology, and our monthly cost of goods sold budget.
Yeah, 100 million is just that's a smaller budget. You're a low achiever.
Well, you know what I mean. But what's really funny is because people ask me all the time, they're like, well, how much do I really need to get started? And online distribution, which is what we call this wholesale distribution model as it pertains to us, happens to even be the name of our parent company, Online Distribution. It meets people where they're at budget-wise. So if you're like, well, I just have a few $100s and I want to put my toe in the water and see what happens, you can do that. If you can say, I have $100,000 that I want to turn every month, selling physical products in marketplaces, you can do that, and everything in between. That's the beauty of selling physical products online. And for a lot of people that have a hard time visualizing this, I mean, it's almost, you can be like making it a virtual garage sale, if you will. And matter of fact, it's kind of funny I said that. The last 2 years has been a little challenging because of COVID, really. I mean, when COVID first came out, we probably sold 3 years of inventory in 3 months. Wow. And well, everybody was doing this. If you people were not going out, they weren't going to the stores. Only say 17% of all retail was being done online, and that's jumped to like 28% right now. Maybe the number's probably even higher now. I haven't looked at it recently. So you have all these people moving online that have never bought online before, and they're buying all kinds of things that you can think about. So what happened, and I think other marketplace sellers that might be listening to this will agree, it became difficult to find inventory because distributors were running out, because the brands and the manufacturers weren't able to keep up with the demand. They're using equipment and volume models, if you will, based on a normal situation. So they're manufacturing on a just-in-time basis based on a normal environment. Well, the pandemic hit and nothing was normal anymore. Mm-hmm. And now you had companies running out of raw materials, so you couldn't make the items fast enough to get them to the distributors, to get them to people like me to resell on the marketplaces. So we did a very interesting pivot. Now, for the people that know me, the people who have read my book, people that have been following me for a while, they know that the way I started in the business in March of 2002 was selling used customer returned goods, used products. We would go to online auctions. We would purchase the stuff in mass. We would inspect it, and then we would list it on the appropriate marketplace. And we've been doing that since then. A fraction of our business has always been customer returned goods. But when the pandemic hit and the inventory shortages started, what we realized was it wasn't affecting the returned goods. There was more inventory available in customer return goods than there had ever been, and at better prices than we had ever seen. We were used to paying anywhere from 10 to 15 cents on the dollar for these return goods. Now we were picking them up for 3 to 6 cents on the dollar.
Wow.
Because of the sheer volume that was available in the marketplace. So one of the pivots that we did was when it was difficult to buy the brand new merchandise, we went and just started buying more liquidation customer return goods at auction. So a lot of our, you can sell those, by the way. There's these misconceptions. Well, you can't sell that stuff on Amazon. Well, yes, you can. All right. But there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the people that say, no, you can't do that are doing it the wrong way, or they don't know the right way.
Well, that's typical.
Of course, right. There's always somebody out there. It's fine. But wait a minute. I'm making millions of dollars a year doing that. You mean I can't? I shouldn't?
Yeah.
Where are you at? But what's really funny is there's these other marketplaces, and one of them happens to be eBay. eBay is, I used to joke about eBay, call it eBay the marketplace that products go to die. But it's, that's a little bit unfair. I say that because eBay, back when I started in 2002, was the game. I mean, that's where stuff was really moving back then. Other than selling used stuff on eBay, you had to make money online, either in porn or books, right? Amazon was really, they're out there selling books and just getting, just starting to think about other products. So eBay was the place. Now, obviously Amazon has just eclipsed them by leaps and bounds. Now you have Walmart, who actually, you probably know this, bought jet.com, and then for $3 billion, and then just basically closed it down.
Yeah, that's what they did.
They have the best chance in the world of overtaking Amazon. But we just sell new items on Walmart. But it's became a new channel for us. When we were looking at the different ways to distribute these products, we found out that Walmart was a much better marketplace than Amazon for certain items. eBay was a much better marketplace for certain items, and Amazon was a better marketplace for certain items. Every marketplace, has these niches, these little pockets. Plus, they have the client base, the loyalty. I'll call it the loyalty of the customer. There's some customers that will only ever shop on Amazon, never eBay, right? People that will only ever shop on Walmart, right? Not Amazon. It's just an interesting mental dynamic, from some people. Some people will only buy the item at the cheapest price available. They don't care where they get it. Some people will spend $20 in gas to go to an outlet store to save $3 on a product. I mean, it's just, I don't know. That's more like a hobby, I think, than actually saving money.
Yeah,
but,
no, it's price driven, but you've got to take in all those other expenses. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, I know there's people that are listening right now and going, okay, when you're talking about wholesale, are you talking about retail arbitrage, going out there, grabbing stuff, at Costco or wherever, and, sending it over to Amazon and, all those pain in the butt things? Like, is that what you're talking about?
No. I'm actually not a fan of arbitrage, whether it's retail or online. Mm-hmm. I would never tell somebody not to do it if that's their jam. Mm-hmm. It's just not a scalable business. And if I'm going to put, like I said before, I'm like the laziest guy you're going to ever meet. I need the easiest way to do something. So I'm really big into systems, standard operating procedures, and, the replication of what you're doing. I used to say, if you can figure out how to make a single dollar, right, of profit online, all you have to do is figure out how to do that 10,000 times a day, right? And that's all done with systems, automations, and standard operating procedures. And the people are important. We have employees and we have virtual assistants, but we have more virtual employees than we do regular employees. Mm-hmm. And they come and go. It's like the McDonald's of the online, selling online. If you don't have a system where you can plug somebody in, like, McDonald's, if you go to McDonald's, the very first thing you want to work there, they're going to sit you down and you're going to watch a training video on how to make the apple pies. All right. And it's standard. It doesn't matter if you're going into the one in Los Angeles or Detroit or Honolulu or Miami. It's the same video on how to make the same apple pie to give that customer the same experience. You have to be able to move that over into whatever business you have, or you're going to find yourself working in your business and not on your business, right? The value I bring to my business as its CEO is innovation, bringing new ways of doing things better standard operating procedures, and additional opportunities. I don't serve my business by going into the warehouse and packing boxes, right? That's not how I can best serve my business. It's not how I want to serve my business. I want to be a true CEO. As a matter of fact, the second book I have coming out is called The Virtual CEO, How to Work 1 hour a day and earn $1 million a year. So that book, it became a pet project because I saw so many people getting stuck in the stuff that wasn't important in making money with their business.
Yep. You see that all the time.
All the time, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. So I finally just sat down, and the book's in its final editing stage. And again, wholesale, when people talk about things like arbitrage, they're getting caught up in what I believe is a fad. How do I say this? There's a lot of gurus out there that they make their money selling, $5,000 and $10,000 arbitrage courses, right? Well, if you do that long enough, people are going to start to think it's a legitimate business. And it's more, you have to understand what it is. It's really more of a hobby, because if you look at the terms of service, a lot of marketplaces don't allow it. They want you to have the physical product in your hand.
So let's define that, Todd. What is retail arbitrage or online arbitrage compared to wholesale?
Okay, arbitrage in and of itself is taking advantage of price inequalities, all right? And arbitrage is applicable in a lot of different businesses. Some people will trade Kansas City wheat, right, in the commodity markets versus Chicago wheat and try to pocket the difference between the pricing inefficiencies. So somebody will go online to a marketplace like Walmart.com, and they'll find a blue widget that is maybe $9. And then they'll go into Amazon, a different marketplace, and they'll find that same blue widget, and maybe for whatever reason, it's selling for $19. So they'll put an offer up at Amazon for that blue widget for $19, and if it sells, they will then go back to Walmart, purchase the blue widget for the lower price, and have it sent to the customer. Well, there's a lot that can go wrong with that model if you just ran through what I just said in your mind. So, it's not a great business. Now, the difference between retail and online arbitrage is in retail arbitrage, you're physically taking your body to the big box stores like Big Lots or Walmart. You're physically driving and walking through the clearance section with your little scanner or your phone scanner app, scanning barcodes against different marketplaces. And then at that point, you have to buy the product, right? So now you're buying something that you think there's a pricing inefficiency. You're buying this on clearance. It's not on clearance online yet. So you're going to go and sell that. Well, again, a lot of things can go wrong with that. And then the one thing people don't even think about is this little thing called sales tax. You walk into a Big Lots and you go to their clearance and you buy like the last 12 blue widgets, that look profitable if you sell on Amazon. You're paying 6% sales tax on the way out. If you handicap yourself right from the beginning by giving away 6% to the government because you're buying that product, that's a mistake right there. So there's just so many things wrong. I mean, we could fill 2 shows about what's wrong with those models. But I want to talk about one other model that came to mind since we're on this path that I want to warn people about. It's called, it used to be called Amazon automation, but now I'm going to call it the automation model, because now people are offering automation businesses for Walmart, Amazon, eBay, Etsy. They're out there with these automation models, and 99.9% of them are fraudulent. They're just people are promising to do things they can't deliver on. They're mathematically impossible to deliver on. And here's the this really grinds me. Okay, the latest iteration of this fraudulent automation model is private label. Now that should really bother you. Excuse me. So here's what they're doing. All right, and you'll know what's wrong with this right from the get-go. Here's the pitch. Give me $50,000. I'll go out and I'll do the research, and I'll find a product that would make a good private label product, and we'll get it set up to be manufactured in China, and we'll get it sent over here, and we'll get it sent over to the marketplace, and we'll optimize your sales page, and we'll optimize the back end and the front end, and we'll set up the PPC for 38% of your profits and a $500 a month fee, plus the 50 grand up front. Does that sound like a deal to you, Norm? And what's the one thing? And what's the one thing that's really, really wrong with that model? Not every swing of the bat at a private label launch is successful.
Yeah. 80-20, really.
If that, right?
Yeah.
So here's people don't really understand that. They think that every time they launch a private label product on Amazon, it's going to be $1 million home run. They don't understand all of the work involved, nor do they necessarily want to. So it sounds so good to give somebody 50 grand, 500 a month, 38% of the profits, right? And just sit back. And there's nothing they have to do except pay for the product and pay for the transportation, right? It's the worst thing that you could do is get involved in any type of automation program. Now, here's how you do automation the right way. You learn how to do the business yourself, and you outsource yourself. Don't outsource the creation of the business, right? You have to take some responsibility, understand how that business works, get it rolling, then put your virtual CEO hat on and start outsourcing the things you no longer want to do. Like, for example, in 2002, when I'm on my forklift in my empty warehouse waiting for my very first truck to show up, right? I couldn't wait to hire somebody to do my packing and shipping because I really hated that part of the business, right? But it was just me for the longest time, and I couldn't afford anybody, right? But the very first profits that started to roll in that I didn't need to live off of, I hired a shipping clerk, right? I in effect insourced or outsourced, however you want to talk about it, the shipping. But when somebody comes to you, right, and says, I'm going to automate this entire business for you so that all you have to do is fund it, right? Alarm bells should just go off in your head. And here's the other problem with this model. You're not going to know that you got screwed for 6 months to a year, maybe longer, right? Now, all of a sudden, you're a year out. You've got 8,000 blue widgets down at Amazon, FBA, that aren't selling, by the way, about to incur long-term storage fees. And you realize that 50 grand you wired to a bank in, I'm going to say Canada. Don't take offense to that, Norm.
Nice.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. That money's gone.
Yeah.
And if you ever actually read these agreements that these automation gurus make you sign, it'll tell you right in the agreement, yeah, you're basically screwed. You know, this thing is almost impossible to become successful with, and you understand that. So you're going to sign off on that. But send us your 50 grand anyway, because we're going to.
And that 38% every month.
Yeah, right. Well, the thing is that's a red herring. That's a red herring. You're never going to get that because you're never going to have any profits, right?
Right.
But they drag you out for so long. And then a year later, they're like, well, gosh, this didn't work. Do you want to try again? Send another 50 grand. We'll try another product. And you're like, no, I'm done with this bullshit or not. Sorry, nonsense. And, and you think that was just a normal business transaction. No, they had you from the word go. And here's why. Okay. And here's why. Here's why all of this automation stuff is nonsense. They're doing this to 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 people. I mean, just common sense should tell you it's not possible to service that many people. It's not possible, right? So So what is this? Is this just a fraud? A con? Yeah, it's a long con.
Well, it's that Nigerian prince, right? That left you all that money.
Worse than that, because the average person can look at the Nigerian prince and say, this is nonsense. I cannot tell you, Norm, this is going to blow this blew my mind. This might blow your mind. I cannot tell you the number of people that have contacted me, because I wrote an article out there about this, right? So I have this article and people track me down, say, can I ask you some questions about automation? Yeah, go ahead. Well, I'm dealing with this guy, this company, yada, yada. And I'll flat out tell them, yeah, that guy's a crook. Don't give any money to that guy. And this is what they do. But it sounds so good. I'm really considering doing this. I'm like, did you not hear what I just told you? The guy's a crook. It's terrible. Anyway.
But, and I get that too. So what they say is, okay, this really does sound too good to be true. You explain to that situation, and that could even be about a person's listing. And you go through the whole process and you explain, what you think needs to happen. And you'll always hear, but if, and it's like, okay, everything I just said, nobody heard, and they go on and they do their own thing. So Todd, before we get into talking more about wholesale, you have a great giveaway today. And I want you to explain what that is.
Well, I am thrilled silly to spend 30 minutes one-on-one with anybody in an Ask Me Anything Zoom call. So if you're already in the business and you want some secrets on certain aspects, we can do that. If you're thinking of getting started with wholesale and have some pointed questions, you can ask me that, and I'm more than happy to answer. And if you just want to talk about what it's like being a laptop nomad, we can do that too. So the lifestyle, I get a lot of questions about living in Puerto Rico, the tax benefits down there. I get questions about, we have a home in China, what it's like in China, and I get some not so nice questions about China. But it's an Ask Me Anything 30 minutes.
Well, that's fantastic. So to take advantage of Todd's offer, his giveaway, it's #Wheel of Kelsey. If you want to have a second entry, just tag 2 people. Okay, so let's dive into wholesale and why you like it. So what is the wholesale model? You've talked about going and getting and receiving returns. Oh, by the way, I went to a local area, a local distributor here who handles Amazon returns.
Oh.
And $10, I grabbed a package, and we grabbed 2. And one was $1,200 worth of Rosetta Stone. And the other one was about $150 hair straightener, which was kind of cool. But you're not talking about that.
No, that whole liquidation model, that customer return goods, is an aspect of wholesale distribution, because what you're doing is I call it the second oldest profession in the world. We all know what the oldest is. But the second oldest is, hey, I want to give you some money for that. And then you turn around and you sell it for more money. Buy low, sell high. Right. Yep. That's really wholesale distribution in a nutshell. The big secret to wholesale distribution is finding products that you can buy inexpensively enough so that you can resell them at the current market price and make a profit. Now, most people get wrapped up in Amazon that, I got to sell the most popular stuff. And Amazon has these top 100 lists, right? And so they go and they try to find distribution on the brands in the top 100. And let's say they do find distribution for one of these sexy products. Well, the wholesaler gives you a price. Let's say we'll sell you that sexy product for $5. And you go to Amazon and you see it selling for $4.95. You're like, well, wait a minute. This model sucks. I can't make any money doing this. The whole trick, is to find products that still have really, really, really good demand, but aren't in the top 100. I mean, the average, I was going to say BSR, but best-selling rank, right? Because Amazon ranks every single product from 1 to well over 2 million, okay? The average best-selling rank of the products that we look at are probably in the 8, 9, 10, 20,000 range. It just depends on the category. So what we're doing is we're using software to find the products that we can buy, because we already have, like, let's say, an agreement with a distributor or a wholesaler, and we know what products they're willing to sell us. Well, we'll use software to analyze all of these 40 different data points that are important to us before we make a buying decision, to see which one of these products we can sell profitably that need additional sellers. Because that's another concept a lot of people don't quite understand about Amazon specifically. Amazon works with multiple sellers, so does Walmart, okay? We call them, there's competitive and there's non-competitive sellers, right? A non-competitive seller, that's easy. That's some doofus that is asking so much money for his blue widget, right, that he bought at wholesale, that nobody in their right mind would ever pay for it, because there's lower priced offers. All right. So if you're one of those lower priced offers and can still make a lot of money, Amazon wants as many of those sellers on that product as possible so that they can get these products distributed across their warehouses, their distribution centers all across the country. This is how I can order, my shampoo in the morning and have it the next day, because they have enough competitive sellers that have placed this shampoo within a 1-day trip to my house. Exactly, right? Matter of fact, I look at a lot of the stuff that comes to me on Amazon, and I'm talking about, I'm in Las Vegas right now in our Las Vegas home. Most of it, I'd say 90% of it's coming from the Las Vegas distribution center. They're not shipping that stuff to me from New York or Michigan or Florida or California, Las Vegas. The only way they can do that is to incentivize sellers to be on those listings, as many sellers as possible that listing will support, right? And by that, I mean, let's say something sells 1,000 units a month. Well, most sellers would be happy with 100 of those 1,000, right? 10% of that overall volume. So Amazon will allow, or basically the way the model would work is it would allow 10 competitive sellers. Each of those 10 would get 100. Maybe an 11th seller comes around and he looks at that and he goes, I'd only be getting 80 a month, and that's not good enough. He moves on. So it's kind of like, how do I explain this? The model has a life of its own. The products that can handle 100 competitive sellers will eventually get to 100 competitive sellers. The products that can handle only 3 competitive sellers will top out at 3 competitive sellers. The key is finding the products that are already selling profitably that need an additional competitive seller. And that's
you told me something that blew me away. I had no idea that this was part of it. Well, there's 2 things you told me. One was the buy box, and that they will rotate. It's not based on price. It's based on, if they have those 10 sellers, it's not necessarily based on price. They'll rotate through that, correct?
Price is a huge factor.
It's a huge factor, but it's not the only factor.
In the last year and a half, one of the larger factors has actually been delivery time, right? Which this, again, brings up a great point, and this is about pivoting, all right? Before I talk about the pivot real quick, I just want to say how important mental attitude is if you're deciding you want to be an entrepreneur, right? If you're going to go out and try to make money on your own, whether it's online or other way, you better get your head straight, or you better know that you're either in the crap, you're about to hit some crap, or you just left some crap. Okay, that's the life of an entrepreneur. It's all about solving crappy problems. Okay, and if you lay down at any one of these crappy problems and quit, okay, you got to take that entrepreneur t-shirt off and burn it. Okay, because you're not an entrepreneur, not a true entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs don't let crappy problems stop them. So the pivot. When COVID hit, and a lot of people will remember this, Amazon, who's ready for an international pandemic when distribution is your model, right? Amazon got mired in the quicksand. They got inundated with orders, and they physically didn't have enough people in their warehouses to fill all of these orders, right? They started ordering more and more merchandise, right? Or more and more merchandise was coming into their warehouses because of the demand, and it wasn't getting received because they didn't have enough people to receive it. The UPS and the freight trucks. This is not a joke. Literally, the guys were sleeping in the parking lots for 2 weeks, waiting to find out when they were going to get unloaded. This is how bad it got at Amazon. So their answer was to hire hundreds of thousands of people and so on and so forth. Okay, so what happened? The Prime program literally crashed. 2-day delivery from Amazon went away for a while. They couldn't do it. Matter of fact, they went and said, we're only going to ship what they called necessary items. Now, how they deemed necessary, I mean, they never really came out and said that. But if you needed soaps or medicines or first aid devices or personal protection equipment, that stuff was going out way before, a massager, right? Or whatever. So, all right. So what's the pivot? Well, a lot of our members stopped sending product to FBA and started fulfilling it themselves, FBM, whether it was off their kitchen table, right, out of their basement, their garage, a storage unit, went and got a small office or warehouse, or went with a third-party logistics company to do the end-to-consumer fulfillment, right? Okay, because they were able to offer a faster delivery time than FBA. So for the first time, and I've been on Amazon since 2009. For the first time since 2009, I saw FBM, Fulfilled by Merchant, offers getting the buy box exclusively over FBA sellers. Had never seen that.
Right.
Or like that, right? Now we're starting to see the equilibrium come back. Okay, things are returning to normal. Amazon's starting to ship everything back out, in a 2-day time frame. Maybe not everything, but they're in the 90% range right now. And they're offering the faster delivery times. So now the way to get the stuff to the customer fastest again is FBA, right? But so many people that did the FBM thing, they saw how smart it was, and they basically said, wow, if I can get it to the customer faster and I still have a competitive price, I'll get the buy box, even if I'm not FBA. And they've set up these FBM businesses that they have a lot more control over, right? Because let's say I'm ordering product in being sent to my garage, let's say from a distributor, and I know it's going to be here in 2 days. Well, I can put an FBM offer up right now, today, make it live, and start selling, and just put in there that I have a 2-day latency. It'll be 2 days before it actually ships, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm going to get it to you in 2 days anyway, just because maybe you're using a 2-day priority mail delivery system, right? Or you have your inventory sent to a few different PLs, 3PLs around the country, and you'll just have the order routed to the one closest to the buyer. You're literally running your own little distribution network. And people, they saw the value of that, and they just started expanding on it, which is something I thought I would never see happen. And it only happened because of the pandemic. So,
right. The other thing you talked to me about, and I didn't think this existed, was using PPC to drive traffic over to your listing. I always thought that it was useless. And you came back and you said, no, they'll drop a cookie in there for 24 hours.
Yep.
So you'll get the sale. If they come back or if they buy, you get the sale for that product because of that cookie.
Yeah, what people don't understand is if you're running a PPC campaign on a shared buy box, a rotational buy box, or your own private label buy box, when somebody does a search, enters a search term, and your product shows up in the search term, it's already got the cookie attached to that search result, so that when somebody clicks on it, you've been assigned as the seller. This is why if they leave that page and come back, you're still the seller. They leave that page and come back, you're still the seller. Okay. That's why a lot of people will come to me and say, well, I did a search term and I clicked on it and Joe Blow's in the buy box, and I've refreshed the page 500 times today and Joe Blow's still in the buy box. I go, well, yeah, because Joe Blow's been cookied to you. Clear your cookies, go back in, and somebody else will be the seller.
Right.
So yeah, so that's a 24-hour cookie that Amazon, gives you the opportunity to for that person. They figure, well, if that person comes back within 24 hours and buys, they're going to give you credit for that sale. Even if there's 20 other people offering it, you'll still be in the buy box as a wholesale distributor of that name brand product.
So you go out and you find these distributors, you sign an agreement with them.
You know, a lot of them don't actually have agreements. They're really, it's more of an application process. And some distributors could be like getting into, a University of Michigan versus Princeton. Maybe that's a bad example, or Harvard, right? So, you can probably get into University of Michigan if you're a good student, right? But Harvard may still turn their nose up at you. You don't have enough experience. We really, don't know enough about you. Go out and, sell a little more and then come back and ask. So you have distributors that are like that, which obviously are the ones you want to get with. You just need maybe a little more experience or whatnot. So we have a database. I mean, I've been filling this database up since 2002 of people that I buy from. And it has every legitimate distributor in there. Because see, here's the other problem. A lot of people go onto Google and they'll search, let's say they want to sell pet products. They'll do a search like wholesale pet products, right? And then there'll be a sponsored result for some company, an ad, and they'll click on that. And the first rule is if a distributor, quote unquote, is running sponsored ads, they're probably not a legitimate distributor. All right. You're going to find these people are more like retailers in disguise. Okay. And they use that word wholesale really loosely. And you'll find out, you'll know this because you add stuff to the cart that you want to buy, right? And then at the checkout, they want to charge you sales tax. They don't have a mechanism to make you tax exempt, which a legitimate wholesaler can do.
Right.
So the problem is there's a lot of wholesalers out there. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of legitimate wholesalers out there, and every one of them suck at SEO. Every one of them have sucky websites. If you landed on a legitimate wholesaler's website, 9 times out of 10, you're going to hit the back button because it looks like it was made in the 1970s.
I know exactly what you mean.
And those are the best. Those guys are the best. I deal with this one guy. Halloween's coming up right now. I make an extra $400,000 a month just because of Halloween. That's one of my vertical holidays that I'll go all out for and have for many years. I have one supplier that the owner's this old guy that still uses paper and pencil to do orders and stuff. It's crazy. And he knows all of his customers, right? And if he sees somebody selling one of his products on Amazon and he doesn't recognize them, he has like an aneurysm. The guy is, he's got just complete control of that tiny, and he's the best distributor though that I've ever worked with. And yet he doesn't have a website. He has no website. It's crazy.
So Todd, and sorry for cutting you off, but I have a question about cost. So if I'm a private label seller, I order 1,000 units and I am taking a chance on that selling. When you have multiple wholesale products, how do you protect your cash flow? Because you have to buy quantity there, or are they drop shipping?
You do not have to buy quantity. That would be a myth. I'm going to call that out as a myth. You could buy 1 unit if you want. Now, are you going to get the same pricing? It depends. I have a lot of distributors that will break open a case and sell me 1 unit at the same price as the case price. Maybe there's 24 in a case, right? But they'll have different programs. They'll have volume programs that if I hit a certain volume, I get more of a discount. I hit a certain volume, I get free shipping. I hit a certain volume, they'll send me a rebate check at the end of the year. Okay. So there's ways and ways and ways. But to your point, the big benefit to wholesale over private label are inventory turns. All right. With private label, you have to your point, you have to order enough. Let's say you have to order 6-month supply to get the price, to get the factory to work with you, and yada, yada, yada. Well, if all of that does in fact sell out in 6 months and you have to order another 6-month supply, you have made 2 inventory turns in 1 year.
Right. Let's
say you have $50,000 invested in $25,000 each time. All right. You got to use that same $25,000 from the first time, the second time. So you turned that $25,000 twice. You basically doubled your annual return on investment because you used the same money twice. With wholesale, our average turns are 17 times a year.
Wow.
So whatever we spend in inventory is coming back to us with profit 17 times a year. Now, even if you're only able to achieve 7 or 8, that's still a lot better than 2. So it's about sending your little money soldiers out to war, right? Several times, the same soldiers over and over and over. They're loyal little soldiers. They go out, they come back with more soldiers, and you send all of those soldiers out 7, 8 times, 17, 18 times a year. The annualized return is crazy because, I mean, you're doing really good anyway as far as a margin goes and an annualized return. Multiply it by 17. This is why, like, these financial people, you know, from the stock market come to me and say, yeah, let's get your money in the market and let's get you that 8 or 7% a year. I'm saying, dude, if I'm going to put money into anything, it's going to be my own business because the returns are like 3, 4, 5, 6, 700% annualized, just depending. And there's more products out there than you can actually conceptualize. And here's the cool part, right? And a lot of people don't know this. The people that are doing private label right now that are successful, if they know what they're doing, will ultimately allow their product to go to wholesale distributors for more distribution. They think a lot of people, and this is a mistake. I have a private label product. I'm the only seller on Amazon. Amazon's the only channel they sell on, so I'm not going to sell my product to anybody. Why would I do that? I'm the Amazon seller of my product. When you go to a wholesale distributor, who do you think they're distributing to other than Amazon sellers? Brick and mortar stores.
Right.
They have deals with, you know, tens of thousands of small brick and mortar stores all over the country. Your private label product can end up in Tom Jean's hardware store in Boise, Idaho, right? It could end up in your supplement, could end up in some little family health store down in Florida. And all of a sudden you 10x your sales by doing nothing more than making a deal with a wholesale distributor. All right. So can you restrict other people from selling it on Amazon? Of course. That's what brand registry is all about, right? So you can still run your Amazon business if you want. But if you take your product to a wholesale distributor and make an agreement with them, they're going to buy from you in quantity. So whatever they're ordering, let's say 10 pallets of your blue widget, they then will distribute it to hundreds or thousands of their customers and keep reordering from you. You literally have one customer buying millions of dollars a year of your private label product. And I do this all the time. I mean, I see it all the time. I'll get a list of 20,000 products from a pet supplier, right? And we'll run it through our software. And I'll go and I'll analyze the results and I'll see several private label products. I can pick a private label. Oh, it's pretty easy to pick out a private label product on Amazon. I mean, if you've been doing it this long, like reading the newspaper, right? They all do the same thing with the bullets and, you know, the brand name is the seller name and nobody else is selling it. That's a private label product 9 times out of 10, right? But now all of a sudden they're into distribution. So I know I could buy that and sell it on eBay, or I could put it in one of my successful web stores. I know everybody uses the word Shopify to describe like a web store. I hate that, by the way. I absolutely hate that. Because I use WooCommerce. I'm a WooCommerce guy, right? And I know the limitations of like Shopify. But anyway, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. I don't think we should go.
That'll be next time.
I've lost track of how many rants I have, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what it is. But.
You know, my family, so my brother, my father, and I were working in this business. We had no salespeople. It was strictly distributors. And distributors got us into Walmart. They had the Walmart number, Targets, CVS, Eckert's. The whole company ran on a few distributors selling their products. Depending on what their specialty was, the product went over to them. And so, I mean, I can't tell you more than distributors are worth their weight in gold. If they have the contacts and you're not selling on, or if you're selling on Amazon and you can get a hold of a few good distributors, man, you can just make your product explode.
I'm telling you, and that's another question I get. Well, how many distributors do I have to set up with? How many products do I need to sell? Well, it's all based on how much money you want to make. But if you want to do $10,000 a month in additional net profit, you only really need like maybe 40 products from one distributor. And, I know this one distributor, excuse me, I've been with them since 2015, and they're an $11 billion a year distributor. And I've had the same sales rep that whole time. This was when I had I still have my warehouse in Michigan, but I had offices in Michigan. And he would come by my office once a week on a Friday and bring a 6-pack of Heineken and just sit down. And I had a pool table in my office also. So we'd play some pool, we'd drink some beer, and we kind of became friends. He's still my sales rep to this day. And I'm telling you, when you develop a relationship, like maybe not to that extent, but it'll be like that. Maybe you'll never meet the guy. It'll just be on the phone, right? But when you're able to talk to the guy like that, hey, John, how's it going? Yeah, hey, how'd that surgery go for your wife? And did your kid get into Harvard? That kind of thing, right? Those people are going to look out for you. So I've got story after story of how this guy has helped me make money in my business. And that is a sales rep for a distributor, an $11 billion a year distributor.
Wow.
I'm not even their biggest customer, not by a long shot, right? But I want to make one other observation that popped in my head. I go to a lot of trade shows for a lot of different reasons, okay? I will see Amazon private label people with a table at a trade show. And I know who they are. I know all of these people. I know these brands. And I'll walk up to them and I'll ask them, I say, what are you guys doing here? And they'll say, well, we're here to get distribution for our product. We're hoping like someone from Walmart walks by, falls in love with our product, and we end up in Walmart. I said, that's not how it works. I said, do you know, in the same trade show that you are right now, there's no less than 5 distributors that you need to go talk to. Don't wait for them to walk by your table. Go over there and show them your product and say, what do I have to do to get you to distribute my product? And I guarantee you, out of those 5, you'll walk away with 2 deals today. And they just look at me like I'm stupid. But that's how it works. The distributors are there to find products to distribute. The brands are there looking for distribution, right? And I just went to, what show was it? It was actually the private/white label show.
Oh, yeah.
Here in Vegas.
Yep.
And I saw the same thing, just brand after brand after brand after brand sitting there looking for distribution, not knowing how they were going to get it. And I asked a few of them, has it ever crossed your mind to contact distributors? They're like, no. So, okay, maybe that needs to be another course. I don't know.
There's a book. Yeah.
There's got to be a book in that, right?
Okay, last question from me anyways. Mistakes. What are clear mistakes people are making when they're looking to get into wholesale?
Buying the wrong products. Absolutely, without a doubt. This is a numbers-driven, non-emotion type of a business, right? So I'll have people come up to me and say, I'm a good cook, so I just want to sell cooking type things. I said, well, you're already going to lose money with that kind of a mindset. Your mindset needs to be, I'm going to sell anything I can buy for $1 and sell for $2. Who cares if it's a golf ball or a cooking pot or a back scratcher or, socks? Who cares? You should be in it to make money with the model, not care. Now, I'm not talking about some people, their religion or their ethics might prevent them from selling, let's say, a set of whiskey glasses, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, if you don't have a problem selling a product, you should sell it if it's profitable. So the big mistake they'll make is they'll buy stuff they're not allowed to sell on Amazon specifically, right? So before doing all of the due diligence on the product, they just see the profit and they up and they order it. Then the product shows up. They tried to send it down to FBA, and then all of the flags pop up. No, that's hazmat. You can't send that. No, that's restricted. You need to be approved. No, that's a lock picking kit, which we don't even allow people to sell, against terms of service. You have to do your homework. I mean, you have to know how you're going to sell it before you buy it, and that's how you make your money, by the way. I don't remember who told me this. It was a long time ago. You make your money when you buy the product, not when you sell it.
Do you know Dave Erie?
That name sounds real familiar.
You do, I think, yeah. Anyways, he started on Amazon with a bunch of products. One of them was a lockpicking kit. And guess what? He got kicked off, right? So acting as an entrepreneur, he had like containers coming over because they were selling so hot. He didn't know what to do. He had these containers. He had, I forget how many, but they were in the thousands, okay? Thousands and thousands. He went over to Groupon, and it became the hottest selling thing on Groupon, and he continued to sell them. But the reason I bring that up is you talked about it before. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to pivot. So he got kicked between the legs. He didn't cry. Well, maybe he pouted a little, but he found the right outlet to go and distribute his products. So, I mean, I thought that was really cool.
I agree. And, it just punctuates the fact that your journey is not linear, right? I've been through marketplaces that people, they won't even remember anymore. There was this one called bids.com. Maybe they're still around, but it used to be your bid. You'd start selling something at $1, but you could set whatever the shipping was. So, we were importing power tools at the time. We were able to sell a whole electric drill set for $1 plus $19.99 shipping and still make $8 on every sale on that marketplace bids, right? So that bids went away, or they went to jewelry only or something like that. You pivot. And there's more ways to sell that. I know we're probably out of time, but there's more ways to sell than just on Amazon too.
Okay. Do you have a little bit of extra time?
Dude, I love talking to you. I'll sit here as long as I've got drink to keep my throat to go.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay. So Kelsey, where are you, sir?
It's me. Hey.
Do we have some questions?
We do. We do have a couple questions that I can throw up for you guys. The first one is from Jason. Can you still use Helium 10 or Jungle Scout for these analyses, or do I have to cough up some more for software?
There's, if you're talking about for wholesale, I do use Jungle Scout, but I use Jungle Scout more for confirmation. The software that we use to do the initial file analysis is Wholesale Inspector. So you can go to wholesaleInspector.com and just get that software. Keepa is another thing that I use a lot. I have the premium Keepa membership. I don't think they actually just went to, it used to be free all the time. And then somebody over there woke up and said, we need to charge for this. And they did a basic, which is worthless, and then the premium, which is what you really need. So yeah, I use Jungle Scout I use for the confirmation. But Helium 10, I got to tell you, Helium 10 has been upping their game. And they have a couple of really cool things that help in wholesale. They actually have, if you do the Chrome extension, when you go to an Amazon page, they have a sales predictor, a sales velocity. So you could actually click the button, the Helium 10 button on that page, and it'll tell you how many units they think will sell every month, which you used to have to depend on Jungle Scout for. So now when the time comes to renew my Jungle Scout, I probably won't, because Helium 10 has picked up that slack. And another shout out for Helium 10. I love these guys. I've known Manny, for forever, before he sold Helium 10. They did something that was so cool now with Walmart. All right. Yeah. And I just watched a presentation yesterday about expanding into Walmart with Helium 10, and 3 of their tools are now going to be significant with respect to researching helium or on Walmart, and it's all Helium 10. So I'm leaning much more towards Helium 10. Do you need anything past that? Maybe Keepa. And again, Wholesale Inspectors, what really is going to make your money, unless you're into this reverse sourcing. Like a lot of people will spend hours just going through Amazon product pages find something that meets certain parameters and then go and find sourcing. I think it's a waste of time. Go to a distributor. They'll give you a list of the 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 products they're willing to sell to you. Run it through software like Wholesale Inspector. That tells you what to buy, and then do the final on-page analysis with Helium 10.
Very good.
Okay, great.
Kelsey, can you put those links in there too? Helium 10, Wholesale Inspector, and Keepa.
Yep. From Jessica Rabbit, what is the average ROI on Amazon Wholesale?
Our blended average, I have the numbers for last year, were 28%. We're actually a little higher this year. I think we're running right around 32% right now, but it's not hundreds and hundreds. Okay. So, but the thing is where it really helps is the turns. So if you're averaging, just say 20%, and you're able to turn 12 times a year, that's 20 times 12. That's a 240% annualized return. I think everyone would agree that's a good return.
I think it's okay.
That's not bad.
Maybe I could afford to pay Kelsey then.
Not the way he eats.
All right, from Jason, got any quick tips to avoid having my account health severely compromised from late FBM shipments beyond my control?
Well, Amazon didn't used to ding you for a late delivery. It was only if you uploaded an invalid tracking number or if you shipped it late. Like if they give you a 2-day, that's where the latency comes in. If you set latency to say 1 day, you're telling Amazon and the customer that this is going to leave my warehouse within 24 hours, 1 day. If it doesn't, you got dinged.
Right.
All right. You had to upload a valid tracking number. If a lot of people were shipping late and sending up bogus numbers, Amazon got wise to that. So now you get dinged. I'm not aware, and I should probably check this out, but I'm not aware that you're getting dinged on health if the carrier delivers it late. Okay. I think what they're doing is they're giving you that number. So as a business owner, you can make a better decision about how you're getting your packages delivered. Right. So if you've told your fulfillment center to send everything out parcel post because you want to save 85 cents over regular, priority mail or whatever, and the stuff is showing up, 2 weeks later, Amazon's saying, hey, you might want to look at this because a lot of people are complaining and you're getting, these late deliveries. Right. So you have to be able to sell profitably with a decent delivery time. Now, a lot of people rag on the postal service, right? But their priority mail product is still one of the best products in the world for delivering quickly and inexpensively. Do they lose stuff? Yes, but that's why they have insurance. And I get stack of USPS insurance checks all the time. They do pay off, all right? UPS is still super expensive. I don't like using them. So if I can go priority mail or first class package with delivery confirmation, I'm finding that my stuff is getting there for the least amount of money in the fastest time. And I've never, ever, ever had an issue with late deliveries.
And you're correct. You're not going to get dinged if you ship it out on time. Where it could affect you is when that customer comes back and gives you that 1-star review. But you could notify them. You just got to be on your customer service. If you think it's going to be late, or if it is late being delivered, let them know that it was beyond your control. And even if you have to either provide a refund or provide something else, like for me, if it's a soap bar, hey, I'll send you out another free bar of soap. But you want to be able to get rid of those types of feedback because it's not a product review. You can't just delete it. They're going to say that is a verified feedback comment.
For the seller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you what we do because Norm made an excellent point, and it's about the customer service. If we are shipping something ourselves, FBM, and we know there's a problem, right? And we know it's going to take a while to resolve the problem. What I tell my shipping department to do, and I'm not saying that you should do this, and I'm not even saying this is within terms of service. If I do anything gray area, this would probably be the closest gray area. I tell them to send a handwritten apology letter with a $20 bill and stick it in an envelope, print out the postage label from that order. So I've got a valid tracking number that gets uploaded in time, and the package goes out to the customer. They receive it in 2 or 3 days. They open it up, pull it out. They have a $20 bill and an apology, a handwritten apology, telling them what the resolution is. I want you to accept this $20 because of this inconvenience. We're going to refund your order because, you know, the forklift ran over the last one of these blue widgets we had. It's going to be another week before we get one, but when we get it, we're sending it to you free.
And they get a free autographed picture of you as well.
We haven't tried that yet. I think it'll scare people off. The point is, you know, I had to beat this into my shipping manager's head because they couldn't reconcile the fact that I was willing to send $20, give a refund, and send a product. They're like, you're losing money. I said, no, I'm not. Because here's what you got to think about. What is your Amazon business worth? And if Amazon suspends your account and came back to you and said, if you had only taken care of that one customer, like a world-class customer, we wouldn't have suspended your account. Okay, well, what would it have been worth to you then to turn back time and fix that problem before it becomes a problem? That's how you have to think sometimes.
Right. Absolutely. All right, Kels. Oh, and by the way, if you are interested in that 30-minute consult with Todd, we're going to be getting to the Wheel of Kelsey very shortly. Just type in #Wheel of Kelsey or tag 2 people.
All right, so we just have a couple more.
Okay.
From Shab, how long do you think FBM is going to last? Is there ever a point where you don't think people are going to do it anymore?
There's always going to be a place for FBM. And here's why. There's a lot of products that are only profitable FBM, right? There's a lot of things that we sell that we will always only sell FBM because that's the only way it's profitable.
Right.
And plus, like Amazon, let's say you're not in the hazmat program, but you want to sell aerosols or you want to sell perfumes or you want to sell something else that you would need to be in Amazon's hazmat program. If you want to sell them FBM. Oh, and I'm going to jump in with one more that just came to mind. This is the one and only one time drop shipping is actually allowed on Amazon, and that I think it's a good idea. If you go to a manufacturer that has a big, heavy, expensive item, and you get an order for it, FBM on Amazon, you then send that to the manufacturer and they ship it to the customer. Technically, that's a drop ship, but because you have that agreement in place with that manufacturer, Amazon allows that kind of a drop ship. So that's always going to be FBM. Big, heavy, expensive item.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and our last question from Nare. How about Go Aurora repricing tool for wholesale?
You know, I haven't. Go Aura repricing tool for wholesale. Yeah, that's who we use. There's a lot of repricers out there. You have to have a repricer with this model. I think once you start getting 10 or 15 products down there, you better get a repricer just to maximize your profitability. A lot of people don't understand that. You're not maximizing the selling price. You're maximizing profitability. A good repricer is an intelligent, algorithmic-based repricer that looks at price action, and before changing the price 1 penny, it decides the best price to get you the most profit. So yeah, we like them.
Perfect. That was the last question, Kels?
Yep, I think so.
All right. Well, let's go over to the Wheel of Kelsey. Have you seen the new improved Wheel of Kelsey?
No, I'm very excited to see
Okay.
it.
All right, we'll get ready.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
There we go.
Kelsey, here we go. This is for a 30-minute consultation or Q&A with Todd. I'm going to shuffle these up. If you are the winner, please email me at k@lunchwithnorm.com so I can connect with Todd with you.
Especially YouTube. We have no way of contacting.
Especially YouTube, because I cannot get to you.
Who got that?
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. That is a YouTuber.
Sehr gut.
So please, Guten Tag, reach out to me at k@lunchrithnorm.com, and we'll get you that Q&A session.
All right, very good. Okay, Todd, I know that you're involved with a bunch of stuff, but is there anything, how do people get a hold of you? You've got some interesting things, like you talked about your book. So I guess, how do people get a hold of you? What's your contact info?
I'll tell you, if you're really interested in wholesale, we have a free preview program that's going to give you a lot of more information, kind of the things we were talking about today, but in more detail. And you can sign up for it for free. You don't need a credit card or anything like that. And you're going to be able to go through a training program that'll give you enough information to allow you to make an intelligent decision about whether or not this is really for you. And just go to wholesaleproductmastery.com and sign up for that and go through it. And you can even, schedule some time to talk with me or someone else in the company, and we'll get all your questions answered.
Fantastic. And what was the name of your book?
The Amazon Code. The Amazon Code. And not only does it go through all the different models and how to do wholesale correctly, it kind of gives my background story and how this all, came to be, And so it was a real cathartic experience. I didn't know if anybody would want to read the book, but the feedback that I've been getting from people that have read it has really warmed my heart. So if you want to read that book, I think, even though I wrote it, I'm going to say it's worth the time for sure.
And we'll get that up there. The other thing I want to say is that if you want to hear about this guy's life, he was one of the first person that I interviewed on I Know This Guy. And it was an awesome interview. We did, I think it was a 2-part interview because it was so cool. And you'll get to know Todd's background. You got to hear it. It's one of my favorite. So anyways, that's on I Know This Guy, and just look for Todd. Anyway, sir, thank you for coming back. Please stick around. I got to talk to you about a few things, but it was a pleasure to have you back on.
I always have a blast. You're just a real, true human being that I enjoy talking with. So anytime.
And right back at you. All right, Todd, we'll see you in a bit. Okay, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Todd's going to be back. I'm not sure when, but we'll be talking about whatever he'd like to talk about. I'd like to also give a shout out to our sponsor, Global Wired Advisors, a leading digital bank focused on optimizing the business sales process. For more information, please visit Chris at globalwiredadvisors.com. Boy Wonder, do we have anything that we need to go over?
Smash those like buttons if you haven't already.
Just casually smack.
Yeah, just give it a smack.
It's a Friday
smack. It around. Yeah, so also subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's great to... Oh, boy. Okay, well, it seems like everyone just loved today's episode, so that's great to see and hear. Jonathan, Shaw, we had so many new people, too, that I noticed in the comment section, so it's really great to see that. So go on over to our Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon, FBA.
Oh my God.
E-commerce
so professional, Kel. So professional.
Yeah, this is a professional podcast we got. But anyways, I think that's it. We'll leave off on a good note and not drag this down any further.
Well, and don't forget to check out our member site. If you do want to buy Kelsey a coffee, because I don't pay him enough, you can always check that out. Okay, so thank you, everybody. We're going into another weekend. I can't believe this weekend's gone by so quickly, but enjoy your weekend. And please join us again every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And thank you, everybody, again, for joining us, being part of our community. And we look forward to growing this podcast and this community with you.
Lunch with the